What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews. We've had a sweep in 2 consecutive days. I've got 3 more picks for you. If that sounds interesting, let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice and the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.
What's good, ladies and gentlemen? I was taking the piss. We got absolutely romped yesterday. Quick recap. We got 0-3. A wild day in the association. We had 4 unexpected upsets. We had 2 blowouts that I didn't see coming. Makes it a little bit difficult to hit some picks, but not all my bad picks were about game scripts. Jalen Suggs, we bet on his assists, and he didn't even get close. He was too busy looking for his own shot. Played pretty poor in all areas, so that was a bad read that I had on Jalen Suggs. We also had Tyler Hero over 25.5 points and rebounds. We get hooked. He finished on 25. I found out after the game finished, somebody sent me a video of him getting a rebound at the end of one of the quarters, and it wasn't credited to him. So that's a little bit frustrating. We get hooked, but not only that, there was a massive blowout. Ty Lue waves the white flag at the start of the third quarter. So blowout city, he doesn't see the minutes and the opportunities. He played really good. I thought the read was there. A little bit unlucky not to cash on Tyler Hero. And then we had the Luka and Austin Reeves parlay. Luka was killing them early. He hit his 30 points, sweat free. We were sweating Austin Reeves to score 20. And with Austin Reeves to score 20 with Luka, you're really just looking for the point where Luka sits down. When Luka's on the bench, Austin Reeves starts cooking, right? It's pretty much how it goes. Unfortunately, LeBron James only had 4 points towards the end of the third quarter, and he had to get his stats. So for the last stint where there was no Luka and Austin Reeves would be expected to cook in that period, the ball just kept going to LeBron so he can get his damn stats. This guy chasing his stats always finds a way to screw me. If you're somebody who bet on him live to get 10 points, congrats. That's easy money. Something always to look out for when LeBron's struggling. Live bet him to score 10. But unfortunately, it killed the usage for Austin Reeves. He finished the game with 16 points, and the Los Angeles Lakers were blown out by the Suns. Definitely didn't see that coming, but it's all right. We've got a new opportunity today. I've got 3 more picks. No bitch-ass parlays in this one. 3 straight picks for you. And for everybody who's been begging me for an under, I've got you. I've got an under in it as well. Now let's jump into it, shall we? Shout out to PropsMadness, the best tool you're going to find if you like betting on NBA player props. The longer the season goes, the better this tool gets. They're also looking to make changes to this over time, and it just keeps on getting better, adding new things. Like more recently, they added this shot type analysis, letting you know how players and how often they play and score from catch and shoot situations, 10 feet of the basket, and in pull-up scenarios, and how teams defend that. So they're always making this tool better. If you want to check it out, the link is in the video description down below. That will give you the discount as well. Now, the 3 picks that I've got for you. What am I looking at? The first one, betting on everybody's favorite here. We're betting on Brandon Ingram, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Brandon Ingram did screw us over the last time against the Charlotte Hornets, where he missed 10 consecutive shots from the fourth quarter and overtime. He sucked against New York. That was in a back-to-back after the OT where they got blown out, and he had a difficult matchup where he only scored 14 points. But up against the Blazers today, I'm loving what I'm seeing, and I'm taking Brandon Ingram over 29.5 points and rebounds. Now, he's only hit this line in 8 out of 21 games this season. He's averaging 27.2 points and rebounds, but I have so many reasons to love this. I'll break it down. I'll do his points first. Then I'll talk about his rebounds. And then hopefully that's enough to convince you. If it doesn't, stay away, because Brandon Ingram, that experience is not for everybody. Variance could get us here, but I do like our chances. So firstly, with his points. Now, in terms of the matchup here against the Portland Trail Blazers, it's pretty damn good if you ask me. Firstly, the Blazers allow the 3rd most free throws. Brandon Ingram is a free throw merchant. He milks a lot of those free throws. He scores in transition. They allow the 4th most points in transition. He's scoring in the pick and roll, 8th most points in the pick and roll. And without RJ Barrett in the lineup, he's operating less as a spot-up shooter. He's playing on the ball more, so he's even getting more points through isolation. And this Portland Trail Blazers team, 10th most points in isolation in the league. If we look at his shot zones, you can see right here, the Portland Trail Blazers do a very good job at defending the 3-point line. Thankfully for us, Brandon Ingram doesn't operate from the 3-point line all too much. His favorite place to score is in that mid-range. And you can see here the Portland Trail Blazers allow the 2nd most points in the mid-range. Not only that, if we look at the types of shots that he takes, 50% of his points are scored on pull-up jumpers. This Portland Trailblazers team allow the 8th most points to pull-up jump shots so far this season, and that has a lot to do with Klingon, who often sits into a deep drop. That's going to limit points at the rim, but it's going to force a lot of jump shots, and that's exactly how Brandon Ingram would prefer to play, if you ask me. So his scoring matchup is excellent. The other call out is that there's no RJ Barrett. Without RJ Barrett in the lineup, we've seen his volume has been excellent, taking a whole lot of shots. His usage rate is crazy. So he's got a 32% usage rate without RJ Barrett this season. And then if we look at the numbers with RJ Barrett, he's got a usage rate of 25%. So massive increase in Brandon Ingram's usage. Not only that, so no RJ Barrett, more usage. Great matchup here against the Portland Trailblazers. Something that also caught my attention are his home and away splits. So if you look at his numbers at home, oh shit, I clicked the wrong button, my bad. If you look at his numbers at home, he's over his points line in 7 out of 9 games, averaging 25. On the road, he's over in 1 out of 12, averaging 18.8. So he needs mama's home cooking or something. Home game here against the Portland Trailblazers. So I like what I see here. The splits are nice. And then even if you look at his rebounds, rebounding wise, he's been pretty much consistent. 14 out of 21 this season. The Portland Trailblazers allow the 4th most rebounds to his position. Partly the reason for that is pace. Portland play at the 3rd fastest pace in the league, so there's going to be a lot of rebound opportunities bouncing around. The 5.5, if you don't like his points and you don't want that experience, I think the 5.5 rebounds is also a good look. But if you look at his splits here, on the road, he's over this in 6 out of 12, 5.2. At home, rebounding like a monster. 8 out of 9 games, 6.4 rebounds per game. So both his scoring and his rebound rate goes up at home. So I'm taking his points and his rebounds, where he's hit this in 7 out of 9 games so far at home. So Brandon Ingram, over his points and rebounds. Yes, please. I'm down for the experience. The next play we're looking at is between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the New Orleans Pelicans. And I'm just betting on a bit of a wagon. I've bet on him a couple of times throughout this stretch, and I'm running it back. It's Saddiq Bey. Taking him for over 5.5 rebounds. The last time I called out Saddiq Bey, I said take 7 rebounds at plus money when his line was at 5.5. That was against the Warriors, and he did finish on 7. That was a tough matchup, but I expected him to play big minutes, and he did, and he just got there. Up against the Minnesota Timberwolves today, and firstly, I'll call out the matchup is not the best, but it's not the most difficult one either. 14th most rebounds allowed to forward so far this season. More recently, the Lakers, 8th fewest rebounds allowed, and then the Golden State Warriors, 6th fewest rebounds allowed. So a slightly easier matchup, I would say, here for Saddiq Bey against the Minnesota Timberwolves when it comes to getting those boards. But the main reason I like this, it's got nothing to do with the matchup. It really just comes down to minutes. Now, Saddiq Bey is projected to play 31 minutes here. Herb Jones is still out. Zion is there. Trey Murphy might play. If Trey Murphy's out, his upside goes up even further. Without Trey Murphy, this line should be at 6.5 or potentially even 7.5, but we shall see. But even just looking at his minutes, when he plays more than 27 minutes this season, he's over this line in 11 out of 14 games, 7.4 as an average. If he plays more than 30 minutes, meaning he gets the projections are right, when he plays more than 30 minutes, he's over in 8 out of 9 games, averaging 7.9 boards. Doesn't matter if it's Zion impacted or not. So with Zion, provided he gets the minutes, he's going to get these boards. With Zion, he's over this line in every single game. So Saddiq Bey, I like the spot here. Still no Herb Jones. 30 minutes, get those rebounds here against the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's had tougher matchups, and he's made it happen before. So that's a pretty simple play for Saddiq Bey. And then my last play, this is for all you crazy people who like betting on unders. We're heading into the Memphis Grizzlies versus San Antonio Spurs, and I'm betting on Luke Cornett under 15.5 points and rebounds. Now, he's only gone over this line 4 times this season out of 12 games. He's averaging 14.1 points and rebounds. Now, I get there's no Victor Wembanyama, so he might see some extra minutes, potentially. He hasn't really seen a massive uplift in his minutes without Wemby anyway. So with Wemby, he plays 22 minutes per game. Without Wemby, he's playing 26 minutes per game. So very marginal lift to his points and rebounds. He plays in the starting lineup now, which often means he's going to have a more difficult matchup. So he's averaging 13.3 points and rebounds without Wemby. With Wemby, he averaged 15.2. So his production, if anything, has come down slightly without Wemby in the lineup. But without Wemby, you can see he's hit this line only 2 times out of 7 games. He hit it against the Sacramento Kings, and all the centers are eating against the Sacramento Kings because they have nobody down there. Drew Eubanks, perhaps. And then he hit it against the Denver Nuggets. He had 12 points and 6 boards, 15 rebound chances, barely covering this line in an okay matchup. Denver Nuggets, middle of the pack in terms of points and rebounds allowed to centers. But now he's up against the Memphis Grizzlies. And Memphis Grizzlies on the season, they allow the 9th fewest points and rebounds to centers in the league. 9th fewest. But those numbers are a little bit distorted because Zach Edey's only been back since the 16th of November. So they've only got a couple of weeks since Zach Edey's been back. And if you take a look at the centers here that have played the Memphis Grizzlies since Zach Edey came back on the 16th of November, Jared Allen goes under his points and rebounds. Daniel Gafford went under his points and rebounds. Jonas Valanciunas under. Derek Queen under. Drew Eubanks under. Centers have had a hard time because Zach Edey is a big motherfucker. He's hard to score on, and it's hard to get rebounds when he's around because if Zach Edey's not getting the rebounds, he's likely tipping it or contesting it, making it very difficult for opposition centers to get them. Now, Luke Cornett probably doesn't have a bad game here. There is a world where he might cover his points line or he might cover his rebound line. But covering both against my man Zach Edey, who's been playing 30-plus minutes in 3 consecutive games, I think it's going to be tough. He actually played them on the 19th of November. That was Zach Edey's second game back from his injury. Zach Edey only played 25 minutes in that game, if I remember. And Luke Cornett played 25 minutes. The Spurs won that game. But he only had 4 rebounds and 0 points. He had 12 rebound chances, and he only was able to secure 4 of them. A lot of his minutes are going to overlap with Zach Edey's as well. And if Luke Cornett comes out and kills Zach Edey, well, I'll be damned. But so far, based on what I've seen, I think it's going to be a tough night for Luke Cornett to get points and rebounds against Zach Edey, which is why I'm taking the under 15.5 points and rebounds. Now, that's all the picks that I've got for you. Hopefully, we don't reverse sweep this one, but I've been thorough with my research. It all makes sense. My process hasn't changed despite the losing day yesterday. We do our best, and we do it every single day, and by the end of the season, we profit. But if you did like the picks, smash the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Posting these videos every single day. Now, just because the 3 picks are done doesn't mean I am. I'll take you through each game. I'll tell you some things that I'm thinking about and that I might bet on, might offer you some value. Then we'll get the hell out of here. Now, let's go. All right, we got a nice set of games here, not too many. We've got the Wizards versus 76ers. Now, we've got Quentin Grimes, Paul George, Andre Drummond game time decisions here for the Philadelphia 76ers. We've got no Alex Sarr for the Washington Wizards. The only real lanes that I considered in this one is I think there should be a blowout in this one. And I say should, it doesn't mean that there will. At the moment, we've got a 12.5-point spread. Philly should blow them out, but it depends how many of these players are going to play or not. So the one that I did consider is Jared McCain over his 11.5 points. Now, he's projected to play 25 minutes. He's played more than 20 minutes in quite a few games now. 4 consecutive games. He scored 15, 15, 20, and 5. He had a shit show here against the Atlanta Hawks, but now he's walking to a really soft matchup against the Washington Wizards. In catch and shoot situations, he scores 45% of his points that way, and the Washington Wizards are the worst defense in terms of catch and shoot. So Jared McCain walks into a great matchup. He's seen very good volume despite coming off the bench. Could be a nice bounce back spot here for Jared McCain, so I don't mind his points over. For Washington, I honestly don't know what's going to happen within that team. They're also on a back-to-back as well, so it wouldn't surprise me if maybe someone off the bench gets slightly more usage, but nothing I'm leaning towards now. Blazers and the Raptors. One that I considered was Emmanuel Quickley. Emmanuel Quickley's got a decent matchup to score points here against Portland. They get smoked in transition, pick and roll ball handlers. They do have a limit points above the break where Quickley scores 52% of his points. But the other thing that I noticed with Brandon Ingram, he scores a lot of points at home, struggles on the road. Emmanuel Quickley is the complete opposite. Check this out. Emmanuel Quickley at home, under this line in 8 out of 9 games, only averaging 14 points. On the road, he's over this line in 7 out of 12, averaging 17.2. So there's a clear trend here. Emmanuel Quickley being the road warrior, Brandon Ingram struggling on the road. So it's one thing to keep in mind moving forward if you're watching Toronto Raptors games. Could be a little system there. So if you find Emmanuel Quickley on the road in a good matchup, his over looks good, and vice versa with Brandon Ingram. But what else did I consider in this one? Should be a fast-paced game. Like you always got to look at Denny Advia, right? Because this man fills up the stat sheet. His matchup is okay when it comes to scoring points. The Raptors are good at limiting points in transition, but yeah, it all depends on, I guess, who's playing here for Portland. Didn't study their injury report too hard, if we're being honest. Klingen's questionable. Holiday's still out. So Denny Advia is still going to be playing the point guard role here. So his assist at 6.5. The matchup's not the best for assists. The Raptors allowing the ninth fewest assists in the league, although they allow the second most assists to his position. But yeah, Denny's a bit rocks or diamonds. His lines are high because of how well he's been playing. And if Klingen's not there, then we're going to see the Time Lord. The Time Lord is Robert Williams, but Robert Williams not going to play big minutes either. So Denny, you could look at his rebounds and assists. I don't know with him. Like the guy's a beast sometimes, and that's my concern. Outside of that, nothing on Portland really caught my attention. The Raptors have been okay defensively. Knicks versus the Celtics. Now we've got Derek White, game time decision, as well as Neemias Queta. So nothing on Boston really stood out to me, if I'm being honest. But there's a couple looks here that I had for the Knicks that I was considering. First one's Jalen Brunson and his assists. 6.5 assists. He went under the last time they played the Celtics, but he did have 17 potentials. So the potential assist volume was there. A bit of variance got in the way. And the other thing is similar types of players. You can see it here. Garland, Mitchell, Maxey, they all cover their assist line against the Boston Celtics. And another thing to call out, in their last few games, the Boston Celtics have been getting smoked by guards in terms of assists. So I didn't mind Jalen Brunson's assists, but it is Jalen Brunson. He's going to shoot first, second, third, and then he might pass it. So that's my hesitation. Another one's Karl Anthony Towns and his boards. He's kind of dipped off a little bit as of late, but it's a good matchup here. The Celtics get smashed on offensive glass, especially with centers. Centers have rebounded very well against Boston. He had 13 rebounds against them last time, but there was no Mitchell Robinson in that game. And since Mitchell Robinson's been back and been playing consistent games, Towns only hit this line in 5 out of 12 games with Mitchell Robinson in the lineup. I considered Mitchell Robinson's rebounds for the same reasons, but 7.5, extremely juiced. So I don't really like that. I considered Josh Hart rebounds and assists purely because we know he's going to be playing a ton of minutes. When Josh Hart sees the amount of minutes he's expected to, he's rebounding and assisting like an absolute machine. Hell, you can even throw in scoring. He's been doing that lately too. So the rebounds and assists is one that I consider. PRA is another pivot, but yeah, thought about the 14.5 rebounds and assists. The matchup isn't necessarily the best. The Celtics do allow the second most rebounds and assists to his position, but when I broke it down in a lot more detail, the assist matchup is somewhat difficult. The rebounds matchup is pretty decent. So, but he does have a 9.5 rebound line. So, you might need a double here from Josh Hart. So, it makes sense. I don't hate the look there for Josh Hart to get busy on the boards and the assists. We'll see what happens. We'll see who plays for the Celtics as well. Wolves versus the Pelicans. What did I consider outside of Sadiq Bey? I considered a Derek Queen under in his PRA. It's just his minutes a little bit inconsistent. Just played 28 against the Lakers 2 days ago. Gets the matchup with Rudy Gobert, but again, Rudy Gobert is not as difficult as a matchup as he used to be. So Derek Queen, I considered it under there. And then for the Timberwolves, I honestly just couldn't pick. Like you can pick any player: Edwards, Randall, Dante, Nasri. Like they all got good matchups to score here, right? The Pelicans ain't scaring nobody when it comes to defense. Dante DiVincenzo is probably one that I lean to the most purely because his line's low, but he'll still play pretty heavy and consistent minutes, and he has a good matchup. Whereas someone like an Anthony Edwards, for example, despite the great matchup, if this results in a blowout, then Anthony Edwards not going to see any minutes late. So that might make it a little bit difficult. But Dante DiVincenzo at 13.5, like, doesn't typically see heavy usage in the fourth quarter anyway. So, yeah, I considered Dante, but we'll see how I feel about it when I wake up. We've got the Grizzlies versus the Spurs. I looked at a few, but in terms of what did I actually lean towards betting, Darren Fox has scored some points. 24.5 is the line. I honestly think it's the right line. He scored 26 last time against them. The volume should be there. The Grizzlies allow the third most points in the pick and roll. 5 out of 6 similar players have scored very well against them. And with Zach Edey now in the lineup, where they can get exposed to people who do a lot of pull-ups, which is De'Aaron Fox's wheelhouse, 44% of his shots come from pull-up jumpers, and the Grizzlies 7th most in terms of pull-up jump shots allowed. And I would only assume here that that number is even higher since Zach Edey's returned. Like, I watched that last Memphis game real closely because I think I was sweating Vince Williams assists and some play on Santi Aldama. But Malik Monk and Zach LaVine had a lot of success with their pull-up jump shots, and that's because Zach Edey's going to be sitting so low all the time. So De'Aaron Fox could definitely operate and score very well in those pull-ups. I lean to his over. What else did I have here? For the Grizzlies, I obviously looked at Zach Edey after his massive game, but I typically don't like betting on players after they've had such a huge performance. But his rebounds is one that I considered. 12.5 boards. He had 11 rebounds against the Spurs last time in 25 minutes. He'll play more than 30 minutes in this game, or close to 30 minutes. But I feel like that line is right, if you ask me. They did lose that last game to the Spurs by 10. We do have a 5-point spread here, so it might be closer. But Zach Edey boards, I lean there. If you're looking for something safer, you can obviously take the 10. I take the 10 with some confidence, but hitting his actual line could be a little bit difficult. Vince Williams assists, I'm not interested in playing that today. That was too stressful last time. And then with the last game, it's the OKC Thunder versus the Warriors. And Jimmy Butler's questionable. Draymond Green is on the injury report as well. He's probable to play. And for OKC, no Caruso, Dort, or Hartenstein. It smells like a blowout. I was looking at potentially taking an under for somebody on the Golden State Warriors, but if Jimmy doesn't play, doesn't happen. They got blown out last time by OKC and he went under. So yeah, I was looking at some unders, but nothing really convincing came out of it, if I'm being honest. I'll probably wait for the injury reports and then lines readjust, and then we can tackle it from there. For OKC, Jalen Williams, rebounds and assists is probably the main thing that I considered. This was at 9.5 when I was looking, so someone's betting on this. It's at 10.5 now. He's over in both games. He had 14 rebound chances and 8 potential assists. So with those opportunities, this line is starting to get a little bit sharper, I'd say. The matchup against the Warriors is not necessarily the best, but no Steph Curry, their offense is going to struggle a little bit, so there should be more rebound opportunities for Jalen Williams. No Hartenstein, Caruso, or Dort. These are the real hustlers within the team. Jalen Williams could have a strong rebounding game, so if I had to look at anything, probably the boards. I'd probably say I like 5.5 boards. He's seen 13 and 14 rebound chances in the 2 games because there's been no Hartenstein. And if he's going to get 13 to 14 rebound chances, then 5.5 is probably one too low. I'd say 6.5 rebounds would be a fair line. But yeah, I lean to Jalen Williams over in his boards, and that's about it. In terms of the bench guys, I don't know who it's going to be. Or not even the bench, just the role players. Like AJ Williams has been very good all season, but every time I bet on him, he seems to suck. Isaiah Joe's been good all season, but every time I bet on him, he sucks. And there's only been a couple of times. Aaron Wiggins is now back. He's in the starting lineup, but Jalen Williams is back. So a lot of the previous data from the season is not really relevant. So I'm not too excited to bet on OKC if you ask me. But actually, there was one more, SGA assists. I think I bet on SGA assists last time against the Golden State Warriors. He had 11 from only 12 potentials in a blowout win. Line's at 6.5. The Warriors allowed the 3rd most assists to guard so far this season. That's one that I considered. His potential assist volume has been decent since Jalen Williams returned as well. But at the same time, if there's going to be a blowout and SGA is probably going to be hunting his 30 points, then maybe I don't love it as much. Not too sure. It's just a lean at the end of the day. I don't love it as much as the other players that I've discussed with you, of course. But just sharing you some insights. You might want to research these players yourself to see if they're worth taking. But yeah, we'll see. But that's pretty much it. So that's a wrap on today's video. As always, I appreciate it if you made it this far. As you know, YouTube rewards watch time. And if you've watched it all the way to this point, you've helped me out immensely. So I thank you for that. If you are betting on this slate, I do wish you the best of luck. Be sure to gamble responsibly. Like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.